And welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. This Wednesday afternoon video, we update on transfers and loans, ins and outs, one or two other wee stories, as well as a post-match review of Celtic's 2-1 win away from home last night against Cork City. Just going to touch on some update to the news on Jansson transfer, Mikael Balikwisha, Yamada, some injury news regarding Cameron Carter-Vickers, plus confirmation that two of Celtic's backup centre-backs have left the club, one permanently transferred, one on loan for a year. Last night, Celtic won 2-1 away from home in Cork. Goals for Celtic from McCowan and a late winner from Donovan in 87th minute, cancelling out a Cork City equaliser in the 67th. First half, Celtic put out a mixture of first-team regulars and a few new players and backup players. Second half, it was completely all changed, with mostly academy players and B-team players, with a couple of first-team players, backups involved as well. So Celtic gave a debut to our new Japanese signing, Hayato Inamura. A lot of folk thought he came to Celtic to be a left-sided centre-back, but my own personal feeling is he's come to be a left-back rather than a left centre-back, and indeed that's where Brendan Rodgers gave him his debut. And I think, all in all, Hayato Inamura had a very impressive debut as a Celtic left-back. Celtic started with a team of Sinisalo in goals, making his first appearance of the season. Right back was Colby Donovan, Dane Murray and Austin Trusty in central defence. Hayato Inamura at left back, then the experienced midfield three of McCowan, McGregor and Engels. Out wide on the right, James Forrest making his first appearance of the season. Johnny Kenny again at centre forward, with Ben Summers out wide on the left. Indeed, it was Ben Summers who had the first chance for Celtic in around about the 12th minute, getting free in the box, but unfortunately screwed his shot across the goal. Celtic then had a couple of shots from McCowan and Engels, which were blocked and saved. Nice cross by Inamura, nearly giving Johnny Kenny a chance to score. And then Celtic did actually take the lead. Nice move, getting the ball into the box to Arnie Engels. Arnie Engels laid off the ball perfectly to Luke McCowan on the edge of the box, and a powerful left-footed shot into the top corner gave Celtic the 1-0 lead. And Celtic kept up the pressure. Johnny Kenny had another shot on goal, which was this time well saved by the Cork City goalkeeper, and Celtic remained very much on top right through to half-time. Not unexpectedly at half-time, Celtic made wholesale changes. Pretty much everybody went off to be replaced by mostly B-team and academy players. Ross Doohan came in into goalkeeper. Callum Osmand made his debut up front as striker in place of Johnny Kenny, and Stephen Welsh took over as captain in central defence. And to be fair, in the second half, Celtic looked a wee bit disjointed. Didn't keep possession of the ball terribly well. Showed lots of effort, lots of desire to win, but final passes and shots and so on were all a wee bit missing. Indeed, also Welsh and Doohan seemed to get themselves into mix-ups on 2 or 3 occasions. On one occasion, Welsh fell and injured his shoulder. He did try to carry on for quite a number of minutes, but did look in pain. And again, another mix-up between Doohan and Welsh, letting Matthew Murray, the young Cork City striker, to put Cork City level in the 67th minute. Shortly after, Welsh went off injured to be replaced by Colby Donovan, who came back on. Celtic had the better chances late in the game. A couple of shots for Callum Osmand blocked away, and one shot by Osmand that skimmed the bar. And nice corner in the 87th minute to the back post, headed back from the back post to Colby Donovan, who was unmarked at the front post, and he headed powerfully into the net to give Celtic a deserved 2-1 win. I think players deserving good credit from the game. Hayato Inamura looked very impressive. I thought lovely passing, short and medium passing, couple of nice long passes, couple of nice crosses into the danger zone, couple of nice cutbacks that didn't quite reach the man. Won the ball a few times in defence, looked nice and steady in the air, won a couple of aerial challenges, and he always did seem to be looking forward rather than backwards or sideways with his passes and with his movement. And I thought that he was one of the players who really got a lot of credit from yesterday's game. Colby Donovan, I think, also had a very good game at the start for the first half in right side of defence, and then came back on late in the game to score the goal. I think he looks like a player with a lot of power, skill, promise, and I think he could actually be the player in the long term to replace Alistair Johnston at right back. I think he deserves to be in and around the Celtic squad on a regular basis, maybe even taking over from Ralston as deputy from time to time off the bench. Other player I think deserves good credit is Callum Osmand. Came into the attack, often working against a very, very crowded defence by Cork City. A couple of shots that were blocked away, that one shot that grazed the bar. And I thought he showed a lot of pace, a lot of good positioning, got himself into space from time to time in the box, which wasn't easy with the way that Cork packed things at the back. And I think he could turn into a very good striker for Celtic in the long run. And nice to see the experienced midfield three all getting a bit more game time. McGregor, McCowan, and Engels all had some nice touches, but still look like they're a week or two away from being fully up to speed. It would be great to see what you feel yourself, so do pop your own thoughts into the comment section about who played well, who didn't play so well, who maybe deserves a chance for more regular first team football, as Celtic now fly off to Portugal for a game on Saturday against Estrela de Amadoro, and then a midweek game against Sporting Club of Lisbon in the midweek. Now, updating on transfer news and loan news, confirmed yesterday that Gustav Lagerbielke has been transferred to Braga in Portugal for £2 million. Celtic bought him from Elfsborg 2 years ago for around about £2.9 million. The deal with Braga is, as I say, £2 million. There will be a 10% sell-on clause if and when Braga sell Lagerbielke on for a profit, and there also are a number of performance-related bonuses which will up the transfer fee that Braga pay for Lagerbielke in the long run. So Lagerbielke played 10 games for Celtic, scored 1 goal. That was the winner against Feyenoord in the home game of the 2023 Champions League. He had no assists, no yellow cards, and 1 red card. That was in the away game against Feyenoord in the same Champions League group campaign. I think, honestly, Celtic are losing a good player in Lagerbielke. I think he got thrown in at the deep end halfway through a Swedish season. Within 2 days, he was starting against Kilmarnock on their plastic pitch with a makeshift centre-back partnership with Mike Nawrocki, who then got injured in that game. Then had to start making a partnership with Liam Scales, who had rarely played at left centre-back for Celtic before. And it does appear to me that Brendan Rodgers never fully forgave Lagerbielke for getting himself sent off against Feyenoord in that away game early in the Champions League. Lagerbielke had a great season away on loan to 20 Enschede in Holland. They chose not to take up the buy option of that loan deal. And now he is off to Braga, and I think a player of his ability is a sad loss to Celtic, and I do think in the long run he's going to turn into a very high quality defender, most likely playing in one of the big 4 or 5 leagues in Europe. Other player that's away from Celtic, this time on a 1-year loan, is Mike Nawrocki, going home to Germany to play for Hannover 96. Mike Nawrocki has both German and Polish nationality, and so going home to Hanover is a good move for him. And I do suspect that at the end of that deal, Hanover will take up the buy option. Mike Nawrocki spent 2 years at Celtic. He came to Celtic for around about £4.3 million. And so I suspect Celtic are going to make a bigger loss on Mike Nawrocki than we do on Gustav Lagerbielke. Nawrocki, in his 2 years of injury-plagued seasons with Celtic, 18 games, 1 goal. That was in the late in the season against Aberdeen. No assists, 2 yellow cards, and no red cards. I think the main problem with Mike Nawrocki, I think he's a good defender. I just think he was injured so much and recovering from injury so much that it made it very hard for him to develop any first-team regular games or make partnerships with Liam Scales or Cameron Kirk-Vickers over those 2 seasons. Player that Celtic were looking for was Isak Jansson of Rapid Vienna. It's thought that Celtic did enter a bid of between £3 and £4 million for Isak Jansson. This seemed to match a similar bid from Paris FC, a newly promoted First Division team in France. But then out the blue, Nice, also from Ligue 1 in France, have bid £8.5 million, and Rapid Vienna, not unexpectedly, have accepted that bid, which breaks their transfer record by a couple of £1 million. At this time, it's not certain Isak Jansson will want to go to play for Nice, but I think it's highly likely he will be signing for them. Celtic do have the option, I suppose, that they could up their bid from 3.5 to 4 million up to 8.5 to 9 million. But I suspect, given the fact that all the transfer experts were valuing Jansson at around 3 to 4 million as a maximum, I don't think Celtic will think it's good business to double or treble the worth of a player to get hold of him. But we'll see how that all transpires. Better news regarding Michel-Ange Balikwisha, a player that Celtic have been pursuing off and on for the last year or so. Celtic and Antwerp are said to be in very close negotiations over a final transfer package. And the good news was that Balikwisha missed a pre-season training camp in Austria today, not thought to be due to injury, but simply due to a probable impending transfer. And Celtic were thought to be the main team pursuing Balikwisha. So if all goes well and those stories are true, it may well be Balikwisha is signing for Celtic next week. Another player that there are strong stories that Celtic will be signing is Shin Yamada, the Japanese striker. He recently made his international debut for Japan in a 6-1 win over Hong Kong. Several stories in Japan have said that once that friendly tournament is over for Japan, Shin Yamada will be coming to Celtic for a 1.5 million fee to sign a permanent transfer deal. 1.5 million doesn't sound like terribly much in terms of transfer fee. However, transfer values in Japan are much, much lower than they are in the rest of the world. If we remember that both Daisen Maeda and Ryo Hitati came to Celtic a couple of years ago for fees of between 1 and 2 million, I think 1.5 million for a Japanese player in Shin Yamada does signify we're getting a good player, and it was encouraging that he is now thought to be one of the best strikers in Japan, which is why he's now in their squad for their current tournament. That deal and the stories are yet to be fully confirmed, but it could well be a deal that goes through sometime next week. But I'll keep an eye on all the stories and all the rumours and all the sites just until we get fuller confirmation. There are of course, a couple of profile scouting videos regarding Yamada and Balikwisha in the archives of the channel, so do have a look at those if you're not so feel up to speed with both those players and their highlight packages. Good news also regarding Cameron Carter-Vickers. Brendan Rodgers was saying that Carter-Vickers is working one-on-one with physios and coaches and trainers, soon to be part of the full squad training. It's not thought that Carter-Vickers will take part in either of the 2 games in Portugal over the next week or so, but he is being lined up to come back into the Celtic team for the game against Newcastle on the 19th of July, and if not then, the game against Ajax in the Como tournament, which follows close after. Also thought that Alistair Johnston and Louise Palmer, both of whom are finishing off a couple of weeks extra holiday, having taken part in the Gold Cup in America over the summer. Also thought that they should be back into training in the next week or so, and then available possibly for the Newcastle match, or certainly for the 2 games at the end of July in the Como Cup before we start our main season early in August. That just about finishes off all the news and stories. As we finish, just a wee polite suggestion, encouragement for those not yet subscribed to the channel. Please do click that subscriber button, keep the numbers going up through the 1300s. Nice number of new subscribers over the last few days, and so please do keep on clicking as a new subscriber, and do feel free to pop your own thoughts and comments into the comment section regarding the transfers ins and outs, and also who you thought played well or not so well against Cork City last night. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.